Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the monthly Town of Milton Board meeting. Today is August the 27th, 2025. The time is 6:30 PM. I'd like to get the meeting started with the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Frolish.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilman Delnicki.
Present.
Councilwoman Soden.
Present.
Councilman Frolish.
Present.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Present.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Present. First on the agenda is a motion to accept the minutes of the July 23rd, 2025 Town Board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. The time is 6:31. Public hearing on local law number 3, 2025 Town of Milton modifying chapter 132 of the Town Code entitled Property Maintenance. Brenda, could you read the notice, please?
Please take notice that the Town Board of the Town of Milton will hold the public hearing on Wednesday, August 27th, 2025 at 6:30 PM. The purpose of the public hearing is to hear from the public regarding the proposed local law 3, 2025, amending code chapter 132, property maintenance. The documentation for the local law is located on the Town of Milton website.
Thank you, Brenda. Public hearing is now open if anybody in the audience would like to speak. Tim Bantham.
Yes, good evening. My name is Tim Bantham, 32 Birch Tree Lane. I just wanted to have a comment about the law, have some questions about it. As I understand the situation, I've lived in the town of Milton for a long time, and I've always known about the rule that says that you have to bag your debris before May 15th and October 15th. As long as I've lived here, I've complied with that to the best of my knowledge. I've also seen a lot of people who have not complied with that in my neighborhood and on my street. So in regards to that, I'm concerned about the penalty phase of this law that's being proposed. If I understand it correctly, the way it's written is that the first offense is $500 or jail time, or both, is the way I read it. Maybe I'm reading it wrong and you can correct the record if I'm wrong. I'm concerned with the jail time aspect of this. I do support the idea of a fine, but I think jail time is too severe. So I would encourage you to consider, one, offer a warning at least, because I don't think people are going to be prepared for this. So that's one. And then the other thing is I would not support jail time. A fine, yes, but not jail time. It's too severe. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gay, Coffee, Kankaskia. First off, the fact that you don't have any warnings, first warning, a second warning, come on, people aren't paying that much attention to what you folks do. I know you can slip it by, but somebody who's on fixed income is going to be hit with a $500 fine because they have their leaves out at the wrong time. And that is ridiculous, and a ridiculous penalty. You should have a first warning, a second warning, and then, maybe hit them with $100 fine. Most people are not doing this to spite you or to give more overtime to the guys who pick up the things. They just aren't paying attention to local politics. And that's all it is. And you can hit somebody on fixed income with $500, or somebody who's got, the kids in school and barely making it, hit them with $500, really destroy their lives. That's exactly what you will be doing to a lot of people. So give them a warning, give them 2 warnings, then hit them with a $100 fine. And then if they keep doing it, up the fine. But to just immediately hit them with a $500 fine, that's egregious.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? They'll do.
Hi, how are you tonight? Okay, Arlene Kelly, Town of Milton. I also want to speak on this. I had to read this several times, more than several to understand what it said. Because at first I thought you were saying you were never picking up debris again, but that's not true. I do think the fine and the jail time is way overboard. I don't think there should be any jail time involved unless their debris in the middle of the street had caused an accident. Because there is a street not too far from me that I don't think they think that all these rules apply to them, because I often see the debris on the pavement in the street because they don't want to ruin their beautiful lawn. And I can see where that's a problem. So unless it caused an accident, I don't think jail time is necessary for people. I also would like you to think about adjusting the times that we pick up our debris. Because with our weather and unpredictable seasons, sometimes we don't have enough time in the fall because we got to start earlier and go later depending on the year. And the same thing in the spring. So I think we should look at adjusting maybe the time periods that we have this service available to us. So other than that, I wondered what brought this about? Did we have an issue that actually brought you to the point of having this drastic of a law? Did something happen? Did it? I mean, I'm asking a question. Did something happen? I mean, what prompted this?
Jason, do you want to address, there's been a problem? I mean, I know there's set times and everything and.
We're gonna keep going around
Yeah.
and speak out there.
Yeah.
We're all gonna say the same things over and over. The actual rules and the policy the highway department follows have not changed one bit. We've done the same thing year in, year out. However, residents have been getting a little bit worse. They're taking advantage of it. Unfortunately, with the time frame, we don't have the manpower to extend and keep doing it. So it's getting worse and worse and worse. So we asked our code enforcement officer to maybe give warnings, pick up a little bit, and the code was a little vague. So our attorney rewrote it. We're trying to put something in place so we could have some teeth. If, like you just said, people around the corner won't come by. But overall, it's the same thing.
Okay. Is there a chance of revising your pickup dates, or is that strictly, it's just manpower, you don't have it?
So we get to that time, we do our road construction.
Okay.
It takes hours and hours and hours. It's
Okay,
not your house, it's the entire town.
right.
It's
Well, I
very
actually-
frustrating because
Bring mine up
we
to the
hear
town.
everything today, now we've got everyone coming out and it's almost, we just can't do it. We can't put enough staff on to do this year round.
Well, we don't expect year round, the spring and the fall, a little extended time, I don't know. I just,
I get it,
Yes.
and I
Okay.
understand what you're saying. It's
well,
weeks though to go around the entire town.
okay,
That's the problem.
I understand, okay. Well, thank you very much.
Aaron McCullough,
There we go.
how are you?
Ichabod Lane, Town of Milton for 38 years. I understand that the leaves and debris can cause problems in the roadways, clogging up drains that are important in case of heavy rains and we get flooding and all of that. I understand all that, and I have to agree with the lady before me that thought it might be nice to extend it a little bit, our leaf pickup to maybe be started in, start the bagging in June and maybe stop and maybe go to September, because we start to get leaves, but we have them on our lawn right now. Leaves are already falling. We don't have a problem with our leaf pickup. We love the guys that do it. They do a great job. But to put a fine is one thing. $500 is a lot of money. This is an aging community. Take a look at the room. And I'm included in that. There are a lot of people on fixed incomes and who don't have a lot of maybe upper body strength or something to haul this stuff and put it in bags. You have to understand that there are issues like that. So to start with a $500 fine is egregious. Jail time? I mean, I have to really, I can't even imagine. I think somebody had their tongue in their cheek when they said, let's add jail time, because that would be ridiculous. I mean, if somebody gets, I'll say it right now, right here. If anybody gets thrown in jail for having their leaves out in the roadway or their grass clippings, I'll be the first one to start a GoFundMe page for that person's legal bills, and I will put the first $100 in it. So, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Sharon. Anyone else? Shelley, Judah?
Hi, 34 Van Tassel Lane. So I don't think anybody here would, take issue with us wanting to have decent, passable, clean roads, a good appearance to our neighborhoods. To answer your question, what I think, might have spurred this is we had a very rainy spring, right? Which made it really difficult. People were putting out, what I saw in my neighborhood were they were bagging things and putting it out in the bags, and the bags were getting soaking wet, and everything was then spread out all over the road. And I know that there were a lot of people upset about that and complaining. And I know people were calling DPW. I assume that you probably heard a little bit about it. So it wasn't an issue of people just throwing their stuff out into the road that I saw. It was that it was very rainy. When they called the DPW, they got told, which is true, we want to have good roads here. We've enjoyed this, but we've also enjoyed these services at the roadside to keep things clean, that, they're inundated. I'm sure the rainy weather made it more difficult for them to be trying to schedule the work they have to do by the roads. But they were also telling people, you should call your trash pickup service to do this, ask Twin Bridges to do it, ask County Waste to do it. I personally called Twin Bridges. They were a little upset that the people in the town of Milton were being called told to talk to them. They absolutely do not provide any lawn and leaf pickup in the town of Milton. And they told me that the only town they do it for is Clifton Park. This is my call. And they said Clifton Park pays us to do it. We do not do it in the town of Milton. So that was causing, some issues as well. So obviously things got really out of hand. I mean, we'd never seen the neighborhood look like that, that it did in the spring. And again, it was weather generated, I think, that caused this unusual thing. I will say that I do worry about what happens to our DPW with all the continued development we're doing and the roads that we're taking responsibility for. Their manpower issues are going to get worse and worse, and I would hate to see it come at a cost of a service that, the residents have come to really enjoy. We're normally here saying that we think the DPW is great and providing a really excellent service to us. I do think that this law needs to be clarified if it is your intention, because it doesn't read this way at all. If your intention is not to current DPW policy, because the law doesn't speak to our customs around bagging the leaves between May 15th and October. It's silent on leaf pickup and lawn debris. So by adding this law that just says you can't put it out there, it's not clarifying you can't put it out if it's unbagged. So I don't know what your intention is. Can it be bagged and be put out between those dates? It's not clear. So that does need to be clarified. It sounds like it's your intention to continue doing that, but the law is not clear. And then I'll just echo everything that people are saying about the fine for this being really excessive, the jail time being really excessive. And I would encourage the board, I'm not sure if you did like a comprehensive look through all your codes, but like I just went to the next section after property maintenance that talks about unsafe property, abandoned property, and it goes through that regulation. And the fine for that is $350 and there's no jail time. So it does seem a little strange that for the things that we're talking about, we're doing $500 and up to 50 days in jail. And one of the few things that Mr. Bogosian and I agree upon is, the lack of enforcement of current regulations that are on the books. So I would also caution that that we have a good plan for enforcement. And again, I also agree there should be warnings and those fines brought really down. But if you're going to go through the process of doing this, we do need to enforce. the regulations, all of them that are on the books.
Eric's husband told me. I think county waste picks up the papers and leaf bags, not Twin Bridges.
If you don't have county waste, then you're not paying.
Right. Okay, I know why you're doing this. And I agree with you in a way because I worked for the city in Saratoga. And you put those grass clippings out there and you get heavy rains, the drains plug up. And we used to go out there, you had to go out in your section of the town and clear the drains. We have two where we live in our street. If there's grass or anything in the road, those two back up, it's flooded. So I usually go over there and pick them up. The fines, that's a different story, but I would just take the language out of the jail time. And leave the fines at $500, whatever it is, after 2 or 3 offenses. But I think that's your reasoning for the grass clippings, is it's going into the storm drains. Yep.
Thank you, Tony. Anyone else? And anybody via Zoom?
Yep. No, not Zoom, but I have something that came in today for it.
Okay.
This is from John June. He says, I am in total agreement with the no debris in the road during the summertime. My issue is with not allowing leaves to be placed on the blacktop in the fall. The neighborhood will look terrible because you force people to put debris on the grass. By making it more difficult, some people may just not rake their lawns. When they pick up the leaves, they tend to take some of the lawn with them. If the leaves sit too long, the grass will be half dead. All these dead, and then it gets scooped out. Lawns will not have much curb appeal, thus affecting the property value. In Saratoga Springs, leaves are allowed in the street along the curb. Why can't the residents of Milton have the same privilege and service?
Thank you, Brenda. Any of the, yes.
Do I have to come back up there?
Sure. Oh, sorry.
Do they prefer the leaves in bags or to the road? Because I think to the road is messy because it does blow all over the place. So what, do you like the bags or you want it at the edge of the property line? That's
If we say bags, we'll have 800 people in here. It's again, you're talking, if
Okay.
bags would be preferable, but you're gonna have a lot of people that say they don't wanna waste their time putting them in bags. They don't want the expense of buying a bag. This is what we deal with every day. I understand everyone's here for this. It's a small portion of the community that we deal with nonstop. We did comment, we called both Twin Bridges and County Waste prior to every year to confirm their pickup. They told us that everyone that has their service will pick up to 10 bags placed in front of theirs. If I can get a contact that you happen to have or whoever you spoke to, I would make a call for you.
At Twin Bridges.
Twin Bridges and County Waste.
They both told you, I'm a separate.
Yeah. As far as putting it on the roadway, we can't tell somebody to put anything in it.
That's dangerous.
Correct.
I know they
But
don't
My
want-
point is when leaves are there, we are going to pick them up in the roadway. We can't give anybody permission to put it in the roadway. So again, if somebody calls like the gentleman that wrote a letter, we can't say, go ahead and put your leaves in the road.
Wow.
So when he's thinking, we're saying you have to put them there, but we're going to pick up all the leaves as we always have in the spring and fall.
Well, if I hit one of these pile of sticks that are actually in the roadway, you'll all hear that. And I'll continue to bring my bags up here because I like that service.
And that is the other service that anyone can bring any of their yard debris anytime until the first snowfall, right here to our train.
Appreciate it.
Any of the board want to respond to anything? I got a few things I want to say. First of all, to all the residents, Town of Milton, it's a privilege what our DPW does, picking up your debris, because most municipalities do not have this. Second of all, the fine, just to make it clear, our attorney sitting next to me, is $0 to $500. It doesn't mean you're getting a $500 fine. It could be $25. So let's be clear on that. It's $0 to $500. Jason, they have a strict season. It's paving season. No, they're not going to pick up anything during paving season because they're busy paving. The signs at the developments, they're specific of when they're coming to pick up. If they do get some downtime, it's a courtesy that they'll go out and do a pickup. A courtesy, not mandatory that they're doing it. They do it to the residents as a courtesy. Our transfer station's open every single day. If anybody wants to bring their stuff to the transfer station, it's open every single day and Saturdays until 1 p.m., Jason? 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Holiday weekends. Twin Bridges, I'm their customer. They pick up my bags every week. So I don't know, Michelle, what they told you, but they pick up mine every week. Okay. That's all I have to say. I just want to make it clear. And that everybody knows with bail reform in New York State, nobody's going to jail. Not putting their leaves out or putting debris on the roadway, nobody's going to jail. Let's make that very clear to everybody right now. Okay,
Following regulation out abandoned property.
so anybody else have any comments?
Just a quick thing. I don't know whether you realize it or not, but when you place your leaves in the roadway, you've just created a big liability situation on yourself.
Why are you looking at me?
Oh, I'm not, I'm just, because the first motorcycle that goes through and has an accident on those leaves, guess who they're coming after, people? So the very reason that Jason says you can't,
All right, could you let him talk, please? He let you talk, let him talk. Thank you.
the very reason Jason says he can't tell you to put things in the roadway, it's that reason, because it creates a liability situation.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Public the public. Yeah. Somebody via Zoom, Brenda? Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
Go ahead.
My name's Kathleen Baker. I also live in the town of Milton. I just wanted to also express my opposition to these modifications and also point out if the intent is not to give anyone jail time, why is the regulation being written that way? And I also want to point out that it does state each subsequent day is considered a separate violation, which then the fine goes to $750. So this is a daily fine. Is that correct? Could somebody clarify that?
Jim, go ahead.
That would be correct if that's what the judge decided to charge.
Can I make another comment, please?
Oh, this lady's still talking, I believe.
Are you, she muted herself. Oh, wait. Yep, she muted. Are you still have something to say? Nope. Nope, she said.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yes.
So is this? I'll stand on it. So right now, are you giving a lot of people fines? Is this something that's happening? Because you're right. I mean, what's the law now? 0 to 250?
That's up to the judge. I don't give anybody a fine. That the
Okay.
judge sets the fines.
You give them you give them some sort of ticket or something. Is that what happens?
That would be the procedure. I would assume they're going to give them some warnings. And then if they don't comply, they'll give them a ticket.
Which makes, I won't say what ASS, you and me, but what is actually happening is what I'm asking. Not what you're assuming is happening. How are you proceeding now? So are you now with a similar thing, giving people $250 and then the next day they haven't gotten it, another $250? Is that what's happening now?
The fine is $0 to $500.
Right. And how are you?
That is totally up to the judge that sets the fines. We do not set fines. The judge can charge you $25. He can charge you $500. That's totally his discretion.
Okay, so then you have to go to court. So
Correct.
let's say you leave your leaves in and it's the day after, the day before, or a week after, whatever, you've missed your deadline. What's the procedure now? Does somebody come and give you a warning?
From the building department, I would assume that they would give them a warning, correct?
But I'm asking, what happens, not what you're assuming. You know, I'll tell you what.
I don't work for the building department, but I'm sure that they're not just out to give people tickets. So I would assume they're gonna issue warnings prior to giving tickets for this, yes.
Okay, so why isn't that saying you give a first warning, and then if you don't obey that first warning, you know, give a couple days to get it cleaned up? I don't know about anybody else's lives, but if that were my situation, which probably wouldn't be, but if it were, then just, you know, having to get that stuff out might take a day or two. I mean, why isn't there leniency built into this? I mean, we're not, your constituents aren't your enemy, and we do pay for this with our taxes. We love the service. Absolutely.
That would be up to the discretion of the building department, the code enforcement, yes.
So what's code enforcement doing now when the leaves are left out at the wrong dates?
I personally can't answer for them what they're doing right now.
I'm not code enforcement. No, I don't think anyone's ever been fined on this right now. They'll go to every house. They're gonna give a warning ticket. It's up to the discretion of the enforcement officer. Just like myself, I work for the highway department. I don't have the ability to fine someone.
Okay.
So the reason there is this is if they go to your house and they ask you, could you please not do that? And you say, okay, no problem, there's not gonna be an issue. If they go there and that resident happens to say, screw off, I'm not listening to you, and walks out and dumps more, the situation may change. I think that's why it's up to the discretion. We pay enforcement officers to do the job. I think it also depends on what are we talking about, a small pile of grass or leaves, or are they putting logs that are sticking out into the roadway? So I think that discrepancy goes to the enforcement officer to make judgments. That's part of what their job is.
Why isn't leniency written into the law then? Why isn't it saying you'll get a first warning and you have to remove it within a day, 2 days?
I'm sure if it was your situation and you said to them politely, I need a week to get this out of here, they would probably give you a week.
Let a discretion to people in writing a law with a $500 fine. I don't understand. why-
It's $0 to $500.
I'm just
You guys keep saying $500. That's the max. Minimum is 0.
raising it from 250 to 500. So there's either a problem, right? What is it now, 250?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
If you go back and you look at code, debris is $250 and it's up to 15 days in jail. And that's from 1996.
Okay, so
It's
you're,
been there.
And that's up to the discretion of the judge. Judge sets a fine. Our attorney represents the town.
Yes.
So if that would be up to them to come to a conclusion on the problem, and then the judge makes his final decision.
so my question is, since you're revising the law anyhow, why aren't you revising leniency into it and clarification, so you don't have to assume and say there'll be first a warning and you have give what, 2-3 days to clean up, and if you haven't, then you will be fined. Why is it that?
That would be up to the code enforcement. So an elderly person, if they said,
The law, right?
if they said, I need time to get this a week, would you give me a week? I'm sure they would say, sure, we will work with you and give you a week to get this out of here.
Revising it and increasing the fine. So in the process of revision, why don't you also incorporate leniency into the wording of the law?
Is there a speed limit? Has anyone ever been pulled over and a police officer maybe let somebody go if they were going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit? And maybe they had some reason, or maybe someone was going 100 miles an hour over and they give them the ticket right away. So my point is it's similar. Maybe a small pile of leaves is just a warning.
Yes,
ticket,
okay,
but if
we're
it's a log or a
talking about
tree-
different things now.
Ma'am, we're not gonna argue back and forth. There's no leniency built in laws. That's the judge sets of fines. We enforce our code. It goes to the judge. No, it's written by our attorney right here sitting next to me.
So the attorney could say you will first get a warning. You can't write that into the law.
No, this is for when they're ready to go to court. All of the leniency comes beforehand, and it's at the discretion of the code enforcement.
So it's
Just like it's
discretionary.
at the discretion of a police officer to not give you a ticket.
Okay.
Not written in the
Well,
code.
I think you could write leniency into the law. I
Then
don't
we have to
think
change every single section of our code
have
to be
leniency.
consistent.
Okay.
We're not gonna do that.
Well, still don't understand why you have to raise it to 500.
0 to 500.
I
Zero.
don't understand why you can't say 0 to 250. I mean, is it a big problem you're having, or you're just trying to get more money out of the people who live here?
No,
Really.
Then why are you raising it?
are you all set? I mean, we're not gonna just keep going back and forth on this.
I don't understand your
All right.
rationale for raising.
Thank you for your comment. Tom Bogosian.
Well, I haven't been here for a couple of months. I see what I've missed. There's a lot to do about nothing. I can help you with this. I think Jim mentioned it's discretion. And everybody that I've dealt with in the town of Milton has exhibited an extreme amount of discretion. You need teeth in the law in order to get the people that are problematic, not the people with occasional leaves, but the ones with logs out in the street, who for the fourth time you've told them to pick them up and they haven't done it. I don't know why we have all this about nothing. Pick up your leaves, put them in bags, do it during the time that the town is allotted for. If you miss it, drag them over to the transfer station and throw them away. So I don't know what all this is about. There may be hope for Miss Judah. If she's agreeing with me, you may be able to get converted to a Republican and be able to see the light, and we'll be able to cooperate and get great things done in Milton. But enforcement is an important part of getting it done. And I heard someone reference Clifton Park. And years ago, I always said, I went into the building department one day and Derek was there and I said, how do you get everybody to mow their lawns and run their sprinklers and make it look nice and pick up their leaves and not have a mess here? He said, well, I go out first time and I explained to them it'd be nice that, they run the sprinklers, mow their lawn and maintain their property according to the code. And I said, then what happens? He said, well, if they don't do it, I go back and I give them a warning. And I said, then what happens? He said, then I write them a ticket, they go in front of the judge and they get a fine per diem. And the law is 0 to 500. The discretion is with the judge. He may fine you $10 a day, every day, until you remediate it. He's not necessarily fining you $500 a day. And I don't know why people don't grasp the 0 to 500 part. I wasn't really going to say anything about this, but I was a stickler when I owned a lot of property. Run your sprinklers, mow your lawns, make it green, and keep it nice. It's real simple. Put it in a bag. Highway will come, they'll pick it up. And by the way, I got to mention Highway. You guys do a fantastic job. Thank you. You folks need to be in other municipalities to understand how well we have it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. And a motion from the board to close the public hearing, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky.
Just a little discussion. Obviously, this is concerning to some folks, and maybe we could look at it a little more closely so I understand where everybody's coming from. But when we get this many people there's maybe something to revisit. So if anybody wants to talk about this further beyond the 3 minutes that they had, I'm happy to discuss this with anybody leading up to or provide some deeper explanation. It was the first time we've seen something this concerning in a while. So that's all I have to say.
Is that a yes?
It's a yes now.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, we're going to switch the agenda around. So we're going to have the insurance presentation by Dave Meager before the first public comment on the agenda. Good evening, Dave. How are you?
Hi. Evening, everybody. My name is Dave Meager, and I represent Hampshire Insurance in Saratoga Springs. And we've been privileged to insure the town for many years. And part of what we do is every single year, those of you who go to the town meetings know, every single year we come here and we do the insurance. With me tonight is Dustin Hall. Dustin and I work together with the various towns and villages that we insure and other types of businesses. The document that I've got, in case the board or the public are wondering how they could be so lucky as to be here the night of the insurance review. It's 15 pages, but I know that this board has been through these reviews before. The other thing is, I've given you a copy of that 15-page document. And rather than going through that, when there's other important business, the board can look through it. If there's any questions, you can reach out to Dustin or me, and we'll be glad to answer them. If you ever want a real detailed review, you could appoint 2 members as an insurance subcommittee. We would come in and meet with them to go over it. So what I thought I would do tonight is just briefly say you're insured with the New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal. I'll refer to them as NYMIR as we go through the evening. They are an insurance company by the Association of Towns 31 years ago to insure towns. They're a nonprofit. All they do is insure towns and villages. They obviously don't insure New York City. As a matter of fact, nobody insures New York City. They just hire a big legal staff to defend all their cases. So what I thought I would do tonight is just briefly hit on some of the points in the interest of time that I would say are different from last year, or points that I would like to bring to the board's attention, and certainly glad to answer any questions after this Reader's Digest review. If you look at page 3, that's the one that lists all the town buildings and contents. That NYMIR has raised that by 6% to keep pace with the increased cost of building materials. You do have replacement cost coverage, so it's important to keep that up to date. So that's one difference from last year. Secondly, when we drove in tonight, Dustin and I drove by your beautiful highway garage, which is under construction, going to be a real asset to the community and the citizens and the people who work for the highway department. Just want to mention that that's being insured now by the contractor. So obviously, before you get a CO, before you move in, make sure to tell us, because the contractor's insurance won't cover you once the building is finished and once you get a CO. So just make sure that make sure Dave is very good about notifying us of changes like that. So I did want to mention that. On page 4, this is the same as last year, but I would like to mention it because NYMIR does several things that are unique. And one of them is on your building and content, you have what's called a disappearing deductible. So if the claim approaches $50,000, the deductible is getting less and less and less. And the claim gets over $50,000, the deductible is 0. Page 5, this is not an issue for the town at this time, but NYMIR, for some reason, doesn't clearly cover what's called potable water. That would be people who get sick from the water. My understanding is the water is provided by other entities, other private entities or municipalities. And so part of what Dustin and I do is we talk to the town attorney about contracts and certificates of insurance. So I did talk to the Jim Craig's staff about the importance of showing in the contracts from these municipal entities that are providing you water, that they named the town of Milton additional insured for that water provision, and that they also would hold the town of Milton harmless from any potable water claims that occur. The next item is on page 6, and that's the cyber. Just briefly, cyber is hacking. If you think of hacking into the town computers. And if you look at page 6, there's an option there where for $250, you can raise your cyber limits pretty substantially. And I heartily recommend it. First of all, one of the things that can happen on hacking is what's called ransom. And ransom means the bad guy gets in, he locks up all your computers, and he says, pay us money, pay us in Bitcoin, send it to some foreign country, or we aren't going to unlock your computer. So right now your limit on that's $25,000. For $250, it can go to $250,000. And if that happened, we would talk about whether you should pay the ransom or not. That's sort of another issue. But you'll see all those limits are raised. And if you could let us know if the board does decide tonight whether you want to do that or not. The policy comes up early in September, and we'd like to get that change made there rather than doing it later. It could be done later, can be done next month, can be done anytime, like any endorsement. Page 8 is a list of all your vehicles. I normally wouldn't even hardly mention it. Covers them for liability and damage to the vehicle. But 2 days ago, you added a 2025 Ram. And naturally, that's not on the summary, because the summary was all prepared. And the vehicle was just added 2 days ago, but I want to assure the board and highway department that 2025 is covered as we speak tonight, and highway has been given. You got the ID card, right? Page 10, again, of interest to highway. NYMER will do something that not every insurance company will do. They'll insure the dump trucks for replacement cost if they're totaled. So if you've got a 10-year-old dump truck, as long as the limit reflects replacement cost, NYMER will pay replacement cost if that truck is totally destroyed. So take a look at that, and if any of those limits need to be increased, we're glad to do it. Obviously, they won't go back to a 20-year-old dump truck, but I'd say anything 10 to 15 years old, they would do that, and it would be helpful to the town and the town controller if you got reimbursed for the replacement cost of the truck rather than the depreciated value. Page 11, there are 2 2025 Western Stars, and my understanding is they're in the garage, and they're waiting for parts to be attached to them, or maybe it's a dump body. But at the present time, they're not covered for liability. So I just want to, again, emphasize to the town family, don't let those 2 out on the road until they're ready to go and you get an ID card from us. And then we add them for liability at that time. Right now, they're not covered for liability, but they are covered if they're damaged, say in a fire. Lastly, I wanted to mention a free service, and in the back of your packet, there is a page that looks like this one, hopefully. And the service is called Mineral, and Hampshire provides that free of charge to municipalities if they want to have it. We pay the cost, and basically it says Mineral is a human resource consulting firm that AmSure partners with to provide customized safety, compliance, and HR related tools and resources to our clients. From expert guidance and resources to proactive alerts, Mineral is your one-stop ticket for a healthier organization. And there's a little more information there. So HR is a big issue today. You may feel you've got that under control by working with the county, but if you want to avail yourself of that service, just let us know and we'll add you to the list. Now, finally, I just would ask if there are any questions at this point.
No, Dave, thank you.
Okay.
I just have one
Thank you.
quick question for
wanna-
Dave.
John's got one for you, Dave.
Quick
John's.
question, Dave.
Yeah, John.
I see on page 4 that we're not covered for like bounce houses. That's excluded.
Right, for liability, all inflatables, are not covered, but they can be covered,
Okay.
and they can be covered without charge. It just comes down to notifying me ahead of time, having a contract with the inflatable company where they give you as additional insured on their policy, and they hold you harmless. And I can tell you from reviewing these for other towns, that these inflatable companies provide those contracts. They know they've got to do it or they're not going to have your business. So we have to be notified ahead of time. We would want to see a copy of the contract, and we'd want to see a copy of their certificate of insurance. Then if I had all that, I go to NYMER and I say, we want this exclusion eliminated, and they will do it with those magic words without charge.
Okay.
Good
Thank you.
question, though.
Thank you, Dave. We appreciate you guys
Yeah,
and
well,
all you
thank
do
you.
for the town.
I certainly, Dustin and I would be remiss if we didn't thank you. We tried to do our best. We think we've got you in the best company in terms of coverage and premium. We appreciate your loyalty. God willing, I'll be back here next year to do another presentation. If not, Dustin will be here.
Thank you, Dave.
We thank you for your loyalty, and we'll always do our best for you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good meeting. Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Thanks, Dave. I'll give you a minute to pack up and gather your belongings. Moving on with the agenda. Next on the agenda is public comment number 1. Public comment number 1 on agenda items only. We're just going to revert before we get started on public comment. We're going back to public comment is public comment to the board. It's not a discussion. So we're reverting back to what public comment actually is. It's public comment to the board. And you're going to have 3 minutes to speak. So public comment number 1 is now open. Mike Iacolucci.
Thank you. Good evening. Mike Iacolucci, 3 Encore Drive. Just wanted to mention some thoughts about 2 of the resolutions. First, Resolution 55 pertaining to the purchase of some heavy equipment. I just want to kind of double check a number. It appears that a total cost of close to $200,000 will be paid out of the Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. I believe the Capital Reserve Fund prior to this transaction is slightly more than $1.2 million. And if my math is right, the reserve will drop to about $1 million. I just wanted to get that out to the public. If that's wrong, please correct that when you can. Second set is Resolution 59. A couple of sentences, a couple of provisions in this just kind of jumped out to me as, to my eye, being a little bit unusual. So under the consulting fee, section 3A, the fee of $10,000 basically is due immediately and is non-refundable. So I was just surprised to see that it's non-refundable. In section 3E, automatic termination. The agreement seems to be for a term of 12 months, but this automatic termination mentions the agreement automatically terminates upon the completion of the workshop. I could not find any explanation of what the workshop is, so I'm just not clear on what that is all about. Intellectual property, section 5. I think this might be fairly standard, but it again kind of struck me as a little bit different. The consultant will prepare periodic and final reports that will become the property of the town. Any other reports, memoranda, electronic mail, facsimile transmission, or other written documents remain the property of the consultant. And again, it just seemed to me a little bit different. So that's been looked at and thought about and is considered fine, then that's good. But I was a little surprised with those terms and just wanted to bring them to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Marion Pitsis, 516 Elk Circle. I just wanted to comment and make sure that the public realizes also. I had a question about the length of the contract. Mike, I think you thought it was for a year. I'm assuming that's what it is. And so that means now for the public information, the town will be paying $46,000 a year for a service to look for retail to put in our town. And I wondered how different that is from the work of the Director of Economic Planning. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, yeah, no problem. Michelle Judah?
Hi, I'm not completely sure, but I think Marion may be referring to the total investment that the town is making, which is what I want to talk about. So I think she's talking about this contract and the Director of Economic Development. Okay, thank you. I just noticed the actual agreement attached when I looked earlier today. It was just the one page that was online. So I just been looking through this quickly. I was also just wondering about, like, why would we need to give somebody doing the nature of the scope of work here on this, again, I'm speaking to resolution 59, access to personnel, facilities, records, reports, other information. It just seems like this is like very much a, kind of a template kind of contract that isn't really relevant to what they're talking about. So just something to think about. I know templates happen all the time, but I just want to in general comment, $10,000 isn't a ton of money, obviously, but we're making significant investments. We're just kind of doubling down on making these investments. And I think that there's members of the public who are really frustrated with the fact that we'll get told, hey, there's nothing we can do about, development and who's going where. And if we have, 10 gas stations in town or like whatever it is, because as long as they, meet the, they conform with the current zoning, we'd be obviously subject to lawsuits. That's very true, right? If we, try to prevent that, but that's not exactly the full story, right? It's not just that, oh, we're at the whim of the current zoning and there's nothing we can do about it, because we are putting taxpayer money into heavily before the completion of the comprehensive plan, heavily investing taxpayer dollars into recruiting and bringing development in and supporting these businesses. And I just continue to be concerned about that.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else? Anybody via Zoom? Yep. Public comment number 1 is now closed. Moving on with the agenda. Resolution number 55 to procure a Western Star 47X cab and chassis at a cost of $162,725 from Tracy Road Equipment. Whereas the Town of Milton's Highway Superintendent has advised the town board is necessary to purchase a new Western Star 47X cab and chassis for the purpose of maintaining and continuing efficiency of the highway department. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the appropriation and the use of funds from the Highway Equipment Capital Reserve Fund to use for and approves the purchase of the said truck, and the highway department authorizes the highway superintendent to expand the sum of $162,725 plus any incidental expenses from said highway equipment capital reserve fund in order to purchase and obtain the 2025 Western Star 47X cab and chassis from Tracy Road Equipment at 115 Railroad Avenue, Albany, New York, 12205. Further, to expend the sum of $38,044 to salvage and retrofit the stainless steel dump body and plow equipment from a 2004 Western Star that is no longer operating, with said work to be completed by T&T Sales of 411 Old Niskayuna Road, Latham, New York, 12110. And as further resolved, that the resolution is subject to permissive referendum as provided in the town law 64 subdivision 290 and 91 of the state of New York, and shall not take effect until 30 days after the date of its adoption, until approved and affirmed vote of the majority of qualified electors of the town voting on such proposition within 30 days after the adoption of the resolution. There is filed with the town clerk, Town of Milton, and a petition signed and acknowledged or prove the authenticity by the electors of the town qualified to vote upon the proposition to raise and expend the money in the number equal to leave 5% of the total vote cast for the governor and the town and the last general election held for the election state officers, but which shall not be less than 100 electors in the town and the first class, nor less than 25 in the town of the second class, protesting against the resolution and requesting that they be submitted to be qualified electors of the town for their approval or disapproval. And is further resolved, town highway superintendent is hereby authorized to enter into and sign all necessary documents and have paid all allocation funds in the amount needed in order to execute the same once the statutory 30-day period is passed and the legal requirements have been met. Therefore be it resolved by the town board. Town of Milton, motion for resolution number 55, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a little discussion, if anybody cares and they haven't Googled it yet, that's the big red dump bodies that you see driving around town doing all of the good work.
Councilman Del Nicky.
Yes.
Councilwoman Snowden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Carr. Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next resolution 56 of 2025. A resolution to reappoint Laura Orminski as a sole assessor of the town of Milton for a 6-year period commencing October 1st, 2025. Whereas the term for the town of Milton's current assessor expires on September 30th of 2025, and the town must appoint an assessor for the next term, and now therefore be it resolved, town board hereby appoints Laura Orminski as the town assessor for the term 6 years commencing October 1st, 2025 and continuing through September 30th of 2031 at a salary that is set forth in the town budget, which benefits, if any, as provided by the town policy. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution 56.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky.
Yes.
Councilwoman Snowden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Carr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, that's resolution number 57, 2025. Resolution to hire and appoint a clerk to the town justice court. Whereas due to a vacancy in the town of Milton's justice court, is in need of a full-time employee for the position of clerk to the town justice. Now therefore be it resolved upon the request and recommendation of Justice Tim Brown and Justice Steve Brown and the Personnel Committee, the town board hereby appoints Stacy DiStefano of 837 Salem Drive, Ballston Spa, New York, 12020 to the position of full-time clerk to the justices for the town of Milton Court effective September the 3rd, 2025 at an hourly rate of $24.91 per hour per the adopted compensation schedule of benefits as are provided by the town personnel policy, and would set hire to be conditioned on a 6-month probationary period when her performance is and remains acceptable to the town court pursuant to the town policy. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution 57.
I'll make that, oh, go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes. Next, resolution number 58 of 2025, resolution to approve modification to Phase 2 contracts for the Rollins Street Highway Facility per recommendation of Delaware Engineering and DPC and the Facilities Committee. Whereas Town Board was advised certain additional construction work was recently discovered that needs to be pursued as part of the site construction for the new Highway Street Facility Highway Garage, upon which further review is necessary for the town, and the project was not anticipated nor covered by the original contract entered in between the town and contractors, which have recently been recommended by Delaware Engineer and DPC, the town engineer, and the project architect. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board, after due consideration upon recommendation from the Town Facilities Committee, Town Engineer, Project Architect, Delaware Engineer and DPC, and the review by the Town Comptroller, authorizes and awards the following change orders as set forth in the attached letter captioned recommendation to approve contract modifications of Delaware Engineer and DPC dated August the 27th, 2025. Number one, Plank LLC modification of 3 louver openings based on the revised mechanical drawing to maintain sufficient and proper airflow. That requires a contract value change increase in the sum of $34,190.91. Time and materials retracting credit will be provided under separate change order if materials are less than the NTE value. Number two, Plank LLC, installation of electric motor operators with transmitters and keypads for southern existing side plate gate Phase 1 and the northern existing side plate gate Phase 2 that requires a net contract value increase of $64,902.24. Number three, Plank Construction LLC, installation of a working surface around the electrical kiosk of future maintenance of electrical equipment on the back west side of the kiosk. This requires a net contract value change increase in the sum of $7,365.15. And it further resolved the town board hereby directs supervisor to take whatever steps are necessary to execute the agreement between the town of Milton Plank LLC for such purchases and work and any required change order documentation or inspection documentation which is needed and necessary for processing and completion of all change orders, and to do all that is needed and required to pay all amounts owed under this agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by Town Board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution number 58.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Del Nicky. Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, resolution 59 of 2025. Resolution to approve the proposal for professional consulting services and retail recruitment submitted by Retail Strategies LLC, whereas the town is seeking to work the consultant service for retail assessment, recruitment, and training to assist with future development requires and mandates of the town's comprehensive plan, and now therefore be resolved, Town Board, Town of Milton awards to and hires Retail Strategies LLC of 2200 Mongolia Avenue, South Suite 100, Birmingham, Alabama 35205, to provide retail recruitment, training, and consulting services, assistance, and set forth in the attached proposal at a cost of $10,000 per year plus any other minor incidental costs, if any. Resolved that the town supervisors authorized to enter into and sign all documents and pay all amounts needed in order to execute the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution 59.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Can I ask a question? Wasn't this $10,000? There was a lot of talk about the $10,000, but correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't this coming from a grant
Yep.
for $10,000?
Correct.
Okay, so we're basically $0 for us. I mean, that's what we're talking about. there's a lot of discussion about the 10,000, but really we're not paying any. It's a grant that's funding it. So I just wanted to be clear on that.
Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, Resolution 60 of 2025. Resolution approved the 36-month proposal submitted by Spectrum Business for internet security and phone services for the town-owned properties at 503 Geyser Road, 310 North Line Road, and 459 Round Street, whereas Town of Milton is desirous of upgrading the internet security and phone services for town-owned properties at 503 Geyser Road, 310 North Line Road, and 459 Round Street. Now therefore be it resolved, upon due consideration, the town board does hereby accept, authorizes, agrees, consents to, and ratify the supervisor to accept a 36-month term proposal from Spectrum Business of 20 Century Hill Drive, Latham, New York, 12110, for internet security and phone services for the town properties located at 503 Geyser Road, 310 North Line Road, and 459 Round Street. A full and complete copy of which proposals are attached hereto and made a part thereof, and further authorizes the town supervisor to sign into and enter each separate agreement and to execute all as needed and necessary documentation and pay all amounts required thereunder in order to execute the same. Therefore be it resolved by the town board, Town of Milton, a motion for resolution number 60.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next a motion to accept the resignation of Evan Meyer from the Town of Milton Highway Garage, effective August the 25th, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next a motion to accept the resignation of Yvonne Bayer Teal from the Assessor's Office, effective September the 12th, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden. Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr. Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, motion to approve Laura Orminski to attend the 2025 New York State Assessors Association Fall Conference in Lake George from October the 6th to the 9th, 2025, cost not to exceed $400 for registration, travel, and meals.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden. Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr. Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next, motion to approve an active shooter training. One session for town employees and the other session will be for town residents. Dates to be determined.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Soden.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kerr. Supervisor Ostrander.
Yes, next department committee reports, animal control, Eric.
Yes.
Animal Control Monthly Report for July 2025. Total calls 103, bite cases 1. I believe that was my nephew. Dangerous dog hearing 0, animal Cs 65, and there were some tickets issued. Unlicensed dog 8, running at large 1, nuisance dog 1, nuisance goat 1. For a total of 11. Respectfully submitted, David Drzezinski, Animal Control Officer.
Thank you, Eric. Next, assessors.
A note from the assessor's office dated August 2025. School bills will be sent out at the beginning of September directly from your school district, not from this assessor's office. Please contact New York State Tax and Finance with Star Credit questions at 518-457-2036. Remember, if you're receiving a star exemption on your school tax bill, you will not be getting a star credit check. Question presented to the assessor's office. I am a new homeowner and I see I am getting a star exemption on my school taxes. Do I still need to apply? Answer, if you purchased your home after March 1st, You're actually receiving the prior owner's star exemption on your current school bill. That exemption will be removed on the next assessor's roll. Yes, you will need to apply with New York State Tax and Finance for the star credit. Respectfully submitted, Laura Orminski, Town of Milton Assessor.
Thank you, Eric. Next, Building Department, John.
Yep, during the month of July, Code Enforcement Department managed 39 building permits, collected $8,124.65 in building permit fees, collected $2,600 in planning and zoning board fees, collected $0 in sewer fees, completed 212 construction inspections, fulfilled 14 fire safety inspections, responded to 58 code enforcement violations. A total of 9 certificate of occupancies were issued, along with 35 certificate of compliance.
Thanks, John. Next, Building and Grounds, Barb.
During the month of July, I did daily cleaning of the community center, town parks, and all town offices, including the highway department, set up and takedowns at the community center as needed. I did weekly mowing of parks, cemeteries, and monthly inspection of fire extinguishers and AED machines. Inspected all playground equipment at Burgess Kimball Park and Suzanne Lyle Playground, and daily cleaning of park bathrooms. We have been repainting the parking lot lines at Town Hall and both playgrounds. Susan Lyle Playground had a lot of work done in the past month. We painted the pavilion and guardrails, epoxy painted and sealed the concrete pad and bathroom floors. The chain link fence around both playgrounds needed repair and fixing, so we completed the repairs. We water sealed the kiosks and fencing at Woods Hollow with Thompson Water Seal to prevent water damage and decay. Have a safe and enjoyable Labor Day. Respectfully submitted, Mark Leroy, Maintenance Supervisor.
Thank you, Barb. Next, the Controller's Financial Reporting Package was issued to the town board and made available for public inspection on our town website. Next, Economic Development, John.
Good evening. The pace of initiatives and developments naturally slow down during the months of summer, a trend typical of this particular year. However, the arrival of fall, we anticipate a resurgence in activity. We were talking about previously a national retailer. I'm going to give you an update on that. Over the past year, I've been working with a national retailer interested in establishing a presence in Eastern New York, either upstate or downstate. During this process, I remained in contact with their site location manager, providing detailed demographic data on Milton and the Capital District, and highlighting a potential site, which is the vacant parcel next to Dunston, which was ideally suited in size and visibility for the store. The retailer, which is called Woodcraft, specializes in woodworking supplies and products for hobbyists and professionals. While Milton's location was geographically advantageous, centrally positioned between the Capital District, Glens Falls, Amsterdam, and Eastern Vermont, the company ultimately and unfortunately chose a downstate site. Their decision was driven primarily by stronger website sales in the Long Island region, which demonstrated a significantly larger customer base. Airport Diner. As I previously reported to the board, the opening of the Airport Diner was delayed due to staffing challenges faced by the operator at its current location. The operator has since informed the county that he will be unable to fulfill his commitment to the airport and has formally withdrawn from the project. This outcome is unfortunate, particularly given the time and effort invested to accommodate this operator. I have already resumed outreach to prior contacts as well as several new prospects to reignite interest in this opportunity. With the facility now fully complete, it may prove more attractive to potential operators moving forward. Business View Magazine. A 10-page story on economic development in Milton was recently released by Business View Magazine, which has a commercial subscriber base of 877,000 nationwide. This publicity interview was done for purposes of attracting business investment in Milton. The complete article can be viewed on our website under Economic Development. Lucky's Fuel and Market. As everyone knows, this business is open and operating. However, a grand opening is still pending and will be announced. Broker inquiries. I met with 2 commercial real estate brokers to discuss projects previously initiated and provided additional demographic information to move these forward. The County Economic Development Grant. The county has approved our grant request for $10,000, and a proposal and contract for retail strategies has been submitted to the board for approval, which has been approved, thank you. So we can move forward and utilize these services to enhance our economic development programs. Now, let's stay a little bit further on that. Our grant was written in such a way as to assist in specific focus on the needs of our community. Saratoga offered a grant of $10,000 specifically for the purposes of utilizing this money for promotion of economic development. This is a highly specialized program which has been used by many of the larger cities across the country. These consultants will be enhancing our current economic development program with their advanced artificial intelligence-based demographic programs, which will ultimately identify retail businesses which are highly compatible with the goods and services required and desired by the residents of Milton, among some of the other services. And additional activities. As a member of the comprehensive plan, I continue to attend monthly meetings in addition to the regular planning board meetings, county meetings, and Chamber of Commerce functions. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, Health Officer, you have anything, Eric? Nothing this month, okay.
Not this month.
Highway Department.
Okay, the Highway Department spring cleanup ended May 15th to promptly remove yard debris. Town residents can bring their yard debris to the transfer station located at 503 Geyser Road. Transfer station hours are Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is closed on holiday weekends. There is no regular pickup of lawn debris until fall pickup begins October 15th. Loose debris cannot be placed curbside until fall cleanup begins October 15th. Please contact your garbage provider with questions regarding lawn bag pickup. The Town of Milton Highway Department will try to get your barrels monthly. If time permits, loose debris will not be picked up. We finished roadway construction on Crick Road and are beginning roadway construction in parts around Southeast.
Thanks, John. Next, Mike, historian report.
Good evening, Mike Companion, town historian. I'm going to add a little element to a new element to my presentation tonight with some visuals. Because a lot of us are visual learners. As a teacher for 32 years, I kind of taught that. And I tried this yesterday, it worked out pretty well, so let's see how it goes. So basically, I'm gonna go through my report and basically give you an idea what we've actually been working on as far as my different committees and things like that. So bear with me for a second. So to plug this in, we'll see how this goes. I hate technology. How about you guys?
You're enthusiastic hating it.
Oh, Derek, help me out. Oh, there, never mind.
It's not gonna work on that TV, is it, Dave?
We
We have to turn this on, Mike.
I'm gonna turn it on. Where's the button? Well, I can start us off. Come on, Dave, let's do it.
Will that one work?
So on August 1st and August 21st, I met with the county historian and or the county commission. Discuss something. Can I just share from it?
No,
Yeah.
up to,
There it is. In which we discussed the number of events which are coming up this year, finish out 2025. On August 13th, I met with the Milton Historic Structures and Places Committee to discuss a few ongoing projects, including the Milton Building, Woods Hollow Nature Preserve, and the Heritage Award for 2025. I completed the preparation for the Heritage Award, okay? And part of it basically, and again, when I tell the Heritage Award, this is what I'm talking about. recognizing people's contributions, preserving the heritage of our town, and building. And this particular building is the one we showed this year, and you guys all know this house, right? Yes, guys, people grew around here, built this a haunted house. It's always going that way for good reason, you won't know, which I'm gonna share with you, this is kind of for me, not me now. Okay, you know the story, it's an interesting story. But again, this is one of the things we've been working on this year. Again, next month, we present the board to the current owner, which is Charlie Hogan, if you don't know Charlie Hogan. We also finalized every aspect of the Woods Hollow history. It might change a little bit, I apologize. But our committee has gone through this numerous times, and then, of course, Dave Bramer gave us his 2 cents too, and changed it up a little bit. So this is what we're gonna put up at Woods Hollow, describing the history of Woods Hollow. There are gonna be 2 locations. One, we basically is gonna be in the pond. The other location is gonna be as you come in from the North Line roadside, you go up the trail, there's like an intersection there, right there. So again, it's a really cool read. Again, it tells you about the history of that location. From the Native Americans to present day. Okay, let's see. Also, we have something we're gonna do in the spring, unveiling of our new Mills of Milton project, which is this. This is gonna be, hopefully, if it's okay with the supervisor of the board, I have this slide plate, it's right out here at the parking lot, town hall. This is gonna be 4x8. Describing why Milton is Milton, because of the mills, the history of the mills. And we're also gonna have one at the Pavilion People Park, in the back of the Pavilion People Park. So that little park is gonna have some, hopefully, like an introduction to our town. And so we'll stop there, if you stop there, which people do, I don't think they actually stop and look at stuff, but this will give us a look at. All right, so again, this tells us the history of the town as far as our mill sites. All right, we have other things going on too. I've been planning a program in October to present at the board meeting, which Supervisor Osterner is probably okay, about the Navy, the history of the Navy, especially important to the town of Milton. And we also have our program, prepared to recognize the U.S. Marine Corps, 250th anniversary of the U.S. Marine Corps at Factory Village. Now, those are kind of rounded out in my little upcoming events. And I mentioned Meg's Milton Community Day is coming up. You guys don't know about that? September 6th, we're over at the park. Okay, we have Heritage Award presentation, which I mentioned already, 6:30. Next board meeting in September. October 4th, I just put this in today, at 10 a.m. On October 4th, the town is holding an unveiling ceremony for a new kind of monument dedicated to the veterans of the various ranks of armed services on the corner of Veterans Park and the corner of Ballston Street in North Line Road. So I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh, yeah.
It was put up today, right?
Today.
Yeah. So it's up at the Veterans Park in the corner. So we're gonna have an official unveiling on October 4th. October 8th, planning a ceremony to honor the founding of the U.S. Marine Corps, like you said, at Factory Village Cemetery at 11 a.m. We're gonna represent the Marine Corps there, hopefully Frank Clements from the veterans, different veterans. Sons of America, North America, from there. And there is actually a Marine Corps veteran there. And in the Revolutionary War, there were only 2,000 people in the Marine Corps. We actually had an officer there, which is kind of a rare. October 11th to 12th, we have Surrender Day in Schuylerville, which is basically the big Saratoga County weekend. As far as recognizing the Battle of Saratoga, there's a couple things going on there. There's going to be demonstrations at the battlefield. What's wrong with that, man? It's a slideshow. Oh man, I'll get it right now. Next time I'll get it right. So we got it's a little bit kind of off, but basically we're doing demonstration of the battlefield. We're also going to be dedicating a monument to a guy named Timothy Murphy. If you go to history, Saratoga battlefield. She did like in the history class. It's all on the stage, young. But Timothy Murphy was the guy who shot General Simon Fraser, General Burgoyne's right-hand man in the Saratoga battle, which is one of the reasons why they lost. And he was a ranking General Gordon, Pennsylvania. And we also have a dedication of a bench at Visitor Center in Schuylerville too, for Knox Street of Artillery, which brings me to this. I mentioned Knox before several times. This is Henry Knox. And what he did was he carried cannon from Fort Ticonderoga all the way down through Columbia County, all the way over to Boston to force the Survivor Reservation Boston. Okay, they never had to fire a shot. Just a cannon being there was enough. And basically, we are living in an area where they actually pass through Stillwater, well, actually Saratoga, which is Scotland. So we're gonna have a big event there in Saratoga too, for the county celebration of not very much else. So that's our presentation for tonight. You think the picture's better now? I think picture's better.
Very nice.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Mike,
Absolutely.
you want to let her, you're going to be the MC of the unveiling of the monument, yeah? So it'll be quite interesting. Yes. Thank you.
So very, very quickly, when you put these like panels like up at Woods Hollow, where are those posted online somewhere?
Dave actually put the panel on the park, under parks of the website, right?
If you ever printed them, maybe we could put something on there so somebody could get there after their hike. Maybe read on or share it or something.
No, it'll be there. You can be able to see it as you come into the park or in either location, so. All right, thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Next, Justice Court, Barb.
Charges from July 1st through July 31st, fines $4,334, surcharges $1,777, civil fees $227, for a grand total of $6,338.
Thank you, Barb. Next, planning consulting, planning and zoning report, Meg.
All right. From Sophia Maruso, we have a couple things as far as planning goes. She's attended all of the planning board, zoning board meetings, pre-construction meetings, and facility meetings. Draft comprehensive plan review comments were issued by her back in July, as well as construction site inspection for McDonald's. The zoning board reviews of 12 Walters Court area variance, 429 Soderman Road inspection and variance. And then, of course, ongoing coordination with zoning, planning, and MS for program management. As far as the planning board, we have a couple different things going on. They are off, the planning board's off reviewing the draft comprehensive plan to provide comments back to the town board in September coming up here, so that's coming up shortly. And then we have 11 Treble Avenue, the Hannaford minor site plan amendment, continued site plan review for an expansion of the Hannaford at 11 Treble Ave. Having completed the seeker obligations, the ZBA granted an area variance for a rear yard setback, received the county 239 review with no significant inter-community or countywide impacts, and finally the FAA review noting no encroachment on the runway protection zones, and the board moved and prepared to make a decision on the project. The board approval was conditioned on compliance to the FAA requirements for lighting. 272 Stone Church Road was a major subdivision preliminary plat extension. The planning board has been requested by Kozar Brothers Holding Company to consider an extension of their preliminary plat subdivision approval dated February 12th, 2025. The preliminary plat was set to expire 180 days from the approval in February. The applicant requested a 90-day extension of that preliminary plat approval, and the board moved to extend that preliminary plat approval 90 days until November 12th. 6010 County Farm Road, which is the Verizon, which is the minor site plan amendment. The board continued the review of the site plan and special use permit for a cellular tower at 6010 County Farm Road. There was some discussion of the determination of wetlands by the applicant's engineer. The board conditioned approval on an attestation by the applicant's engineer that they were qualified to determine the wetland classification and jurisdiction, and that they are non-jurisdictional. 1137 Good Road, minor subdivision. The board has a new application for a minor subdivision at 1137 Good Road. The board moved to establish itself as lead agency under seeker and also made a determination that there would be no significant adverse environmental impacts. The board scheduled a public hearing for September 10th at 7:05. That's it for planning board. And then as far as zoning board, Their meeting was July 24th, which is, again, of course, the day after our meetings. So their next one will be tomorrow. 11 Treble Avenue, the Hannaford, which we heard with a public hearing was continued and no additional comments from the public. They closed the public hearing and approved the area variance. 258 Malta Ave was an area variance. They conducted the public hearing, no comments from the public, and the area variance was approved. 12 Walters Court, again, an area variance, the garage area variance to replace a carport. Type 2 action under seeker. They scheduled the public hearing for 7 p.m. on 8/28 tomorrow. That's it.
Thank you, Meg. Next, Brenda, Town Clerk report.
Okay, so for the month of July, we had 6 marriages, 17 certified marriage certificates, 55 certified death certificates, 29 for search of records, 164 dog licensing, of which 46 of them are online, 24 hunting and fishing licenses, 8 pavilion and farm center rentals, 1 peddler's license, and the town share was $5,201.11.
Thank you, Brenda. Next, Youth Bureau.
Yes. All right. So we had a youth bureau meeting on the 18th, and the great news is the New York State budget for youth programs increased by almost 50%. That means that our next cycle of programs will see an increase in grant money. Applications were due by August 1st so that they can be reviewed and awarded before the October 1st cycle start. The town of Milton was awarded $6,181 this year for the 2025 cycle. And we've been awarded $9,227 for next grant cycle starting October 1st through September of 2026. And because the cycle starts October 1st, it gives us a chance to use up to 20% of that for now, from October 1st until the end of the year. So we could use it for trunk or treat. We can use it to get supplies for next year. And the community, we still have to do some discussion on sports and team programs for their grants. Our next meeting is November 17th.
Thank you, Brenda. Next, on the agenda is public comment number 2. Public comment number 2, any town business, anyone wishing to speak will have 3 minutes to speak. Public comment number 2 is now open. Mike Iacolucci.
Thank you once again. Good evening, Mike Iacolucci, Free Encore. I just wanted to give a special thanks to Brenda and everyone who might have been involved in the summer camp for a second year. Our 2 grandsons in the area were able to attend. I know they had a great time, and from what they have told us, it sounds like every camper had a great time. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? Michelle Judah?
Hi, so I heard a couple of things during the insurance presentation that I would just encourage you to be thinking about. The cyber, I saw a few faces like, oh, cyber, so about 25,000. A difference between 25,000 and 250,000 is important because that happens more often than you probably think it does. And it will debilitate you for months on end if it happens. And the ransom payments can be very high, and sometimes you're told to pay them. And that's a really wise investment to increase $250 and get that bump. The inflatables you mentioned, so I don't know if there's inflatables at the thing. Okay, all right. I was just gonna say, let's make sure that we take care of that. I also wanted to just make a point. I was looking up Mr. Ostrander, or I'm sorry, Mr. Olenek confirmed it. The grant that's paying for that retail strategies is a county economic development grant. So I don't want to lose sight. It is still taxpayer dollars. Might not be, Town of Milton, but it's county taxpayer dollars. We hear about a grant that's coming to the youth activities and for the camp. That's a great use of those things. there's only so much taxpayer dollars to go around. And so it's still important to use tax dollars wisely. I heard this mentioned recently in the village because people were questioning the fireworks and they got told, oh, it's a grant. Grants often come from our taxpayer dollars. We should be thinking about how we're using it. And I just also want to emphasize that it doesn't negate what Mr. Iacolucci said. If it's grant dollars and it's non-refundable, that's $10,000 of our grant money that's non-refundable to us. It also does not negate what I was saying is that it means that, we can't keep saying like, there's nothing we can do. It's in our zoning code when we keep putting money in and towards this to build economic, development here before we update the zoning codes. So then, it's very, I hadn't read your report. I feel bad for you about what happened with Alexis Diner. That used to be at the foothill of where my grandparents lived. It's a really good place. I don't know anyone who was unhappy about a diner coming in to the airport. I think a lot of people were actually really super excited about that. So really sad to hear, what has happened. But obviously, I will say that it echoes what some of the concerns have been about all the development and the retail that's going to be at the bottom of Milltown Center. How are we staffing all of these places? How are we making sure, that they're full? And people, had expressed concerns about that. And then just as a final thing, I'd like to offer an apology to you, Supervisor Ostrander. I try to follow the rules of decorum for meetings. I know it's one shot at the apple, up here for a comment. I try to follow that as much as possible. So I apologize for being, out of turn at the beginning of the meeting. It is difficult sometimes to feel like we're getting lectured about things. And I think that sometimes raises some emotions that are a little bit difficult to quell. I can certainly speak for myself. And I think most of what I heard in the public hearing, nobody here was saying, we think it's great to have, leaves and twigs and branches and logs out in the road, so to be lectured that, hey, we're saving you because you have personal liability in regard. No one was saying that. No one was saying that. We were saying to look at the language of that law, make sure it's super clear. And I was personally saying, just look at the fines that you have and make sure that it's consistent, throughout all your policies before you finalize that. It is, the last thing that I will say though, is that when this board does not keep tight in terms of your communication, which is what usually happens, like you don't say a lot that isn't something that you're reading or report. There's usually not a lot of discussion. It tends to devolve a little bit. And, we've been here at meetings that it's a team effort, the public and the board. And no one in the public should be made to feel like they're going to be yelled at, which is what it feels like. You're not maybe raising your voice completely. It feels like we get yelled at sometimes when we bring things. It's not a good look for you. It's not comfortable for us as the public to have that happen. And, to be like telling us it's a courtesy, that we do this. We are the taxpayers, and we are the public. And I just think that it's unfortunate that the communication back and forth like triggers that and it rises to that level. It doesn't make it a good for us working, together and cooperatively for the good of the town, which is what we're all here for.
Anyone else? Brenda, anybody via Zoom? Hearing none. Public comment number 2 is now closed. Brenda, do we have any correspondence? Hearing none. Discussion from the board on any new or old business. John Frolish, you're up.
Not a whole lot to report. Things keep moving at the highway facility right now. Mostly interior work. They're waiting on some fire suppression, the tank for the fire suppression and things like that. It's moving along. That's about all I can say for that. You don't see much going on, but it's getting there. And as far as water districts go, right now we are in the process with the city of Saratoga and the village of Ballston of putting together some intermunicipal agreements. And those will probably take a few months to go back and forth. So that's where that all stands. And everything else seems to be status quo at this point.
Thanks, John. The only thing I have is, Mike mentioned, Veterans Park, dedication for the monument is October the 4th at 10 a.m. Rain date is 10/5. The VFW is also having a chicken barbecue that day, so if everybody could stop by and purchase a dinner from them, they greatly appreciate that, and there will be light refreshments at the community center after the event. I was just given a picture of the new monument that's all lit up on my phone from the maintenance supervisor who just finished the lighting. So if anybody wants to take a look at it, I don't have enough time to put it up, but if anybody wants to see it, you can come up and see me after the meeting. I have a picture on my phone. Barb?
Just comprehensive, the draft, and I hope everybody has a copy, or it is online. And we'd like to have your comments at our October meeting. There'll be public hearing on it. I'm trying to look up our meeting. I don't have it off the top. September 29th is the next time that the committee will meet at 6:15.
Meg?
Milton Day. So this is exciting. We're getting to crunch time. It's next weekend. So September 6th, Saturday, 1 to 4, Burgess Kimball Park. Just to give you kind of a highlight of, you've probably seen some posts and stuff on Facebook, maybe on our website. There'll be flyers going out. There'll be lawn signs going up. So just encourage anyone that friends, family, etc. in the town to come out and participate. Lots of kids activities as well as food trucks, just to name a few. Ted's Fish Fry. Of course, we have to have Mr. Jingling because he's a staple in our community. Juicy Burger, Neighborhood Kitchen, and Rollin' and Gravy. So there'll be plenty of food options, as well as Mr. Twisty, the balloon artist, face painters, 4-H booths, and animals, farm animals. And there'll be a story walk with planning activity. So I think that will be fun in the Milton Mile. Fire trucks, EMT, of course, my companion and his team will be there with.
Cannons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. They don't like loud.
No, they don't.
We're
We're
work
gonna
it
have
out.
to time that accordingly. But you know what? Farm animals, some of them are a little bit more, yeah. Exactly. That's, yeah. We'll have plenty of market vendors. So if you're looking for veggies, that sort of thing, we'll have that as well. The Bennett brothers will be out with some live music. So that will be fun, and race cars. So the kids will enjoy lots of fun activities there. So certainly come out. That's it for me.
Eric, you're up. You're speechless.
For once. Thank you. I'm good.
You good?
Well, let me add,
Took all that for that?
I'll add on to Milton Day. I mean, a lot of folks here are kind of using their time to put this thing together. I think it's gonna be really neat. And I always kind of hope that, as this town center comes together and we refurbish and do some landscaping in the park back here, that we have more community events like this. I think it'd be really fun for everybody. So if you see some of the social media posts or something go by and this is something that interests you, or you think it might interest somebody please forward it. That's the best way for us to get the word out, because we're not getting a big grant for advertising dollars. So we're just gonna spread the word and try to have some fun. And it's for everybody, in particular the kids.
Thank you. Brenda?
Okay, so we had 173 kids registered, and we had an average of 115. They loved it. They went to Fun Spot, which is a trampoline park. They went to, Fun Spot is golf or go-karts. They went to Skyline, which was trampolines. The fair, they did mini golf. They had a ball this year. Bowling alley and are their favorite. They liked Skyline and Fun Spot this year. So it was a fantastic year. And it's nice. We had, I think, one counselors, maybe four. The rest of them were all returning counselors. So our counselors are involved as well. So just wanted to let everybody know.
Thank you, Brenda. There's no executive session this evening, so a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Councilman Delnifty.
Yes.
Councilman Sodi.
Yes.
Councilman Frolish. Yes. Councilwoman Kerr.
Yes.
Supervisor Erskine.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for attending. Have a wonderful evening.